the sexy side of menopause. I am Beverly with Beverly Hills Health and Wellness Coaching, and I am here to have a conversation with you around the menopause journey and leaning into the sexy side of menopause. So, I have been working on these menopause conversations for many, many years, and I was encouraged to start a podcast where I could have these conversations with a broader audience, thus the sexy side of menopause. So if you haven't met me before, let me introduce myself and we will jump right into this episode. So I am Beverly Whitlow. I'm the CEO of Beverly Hills Health and Wellness Coaching. I'm a certified health coach and I'm the founder of the Body and Lifestyle Academy, where I help women to break through the stigma of menopause and lean into a fabulous, confident, and sexy new vision of themselves through a holistic journey that I refer to as stepping into a powerful next level life. So, with that said, I want you to get comfortable. I have a setup here on my desk, so this is going to be somewhat of a show and tell session. And I want you to just relax and just think about menopause from a different perspective, okay? We have enough noise out there about the negative side of menopause. And what I noticed is that there's not a conversation around the sexy side of menopause. Thus, I have stepped up and started this podcast. So, I have a friend, a very dear friend of mine. She's a business colleague, friend, mentor, family. She checks all the boxes. And that's one of the things about the menopause journey. You have to be in community. You have to find people that think like you think. And we get together regularly and we have a sip and chat. So in her honor, I want this to be like a sip and chat. So I have some amazing champagne that I want to share with you as we celebrate the sexy side of menopause. So one of the things that's really important to me is that we always have to celebrate all the small things in life. And one of the things I really enjoy is having beautiful glasses. And this is a Lenox glass, crystal, and it's in rose gold. And it's just so gorgeous. I don't know how much it costs, $100, I don't know. But when I saw it, it called me. So this is one of those things about being on the journey. Life is one of those opportunities for you to find the small things and celebrate them. So when I saw this, it was actually two of them. And of course, I broke one. So this is the only one I have left. And I want to share a glass of champagne with you. Also, in having a conversation around champagne, as we talk about menopause, there's a lot of things that we have to look at how we've gotten to this journey and maybe make some tweaks and changes. So I love champagne. I've traveled around the world. My favorite place, my happy place is Paris. I absolutely love Paris. But I also lived in California for about 6 years. And I used to go to the venues and do wine tasting. And I've really come to love wines and champagne, Prosecco. And one of those things that I've learned as I've navigated through the journey of menopause is that we have to be very conscientious about how we're nourishing our bodies. And we have to identify things that are toxins in our bodies and work to minimize and remove what we can. And being that I love champagne so much, I found that alcohol in general will disrupt our pleasant navigation of menopause by causing our hormones to kind of go crazy. Hi Jay, how you doing? And Sabina, hi, how you guys? So glad to have you here. Grab your glass of champagne. Let's have a conversation. So getting back to the point was that we have to find out what's disrupting our hormones and causing us distress during this menopause journey. And I found like alcohol is one of those things. So I'm not giving up my alcohol. I might have to cut back or find some alternatives. And I've tried different types of champagne, different types of wine. But what I've found is that there has been such a groundswell of individuals who are healthy, conscientious about how they eat, but don't want to give up their wines or their champagne. So certain sectors of the industry have changed to answer that call. And Cameron Diaz, you might or might not know who she is she was in the movie Charlie's Angels, like the latest editions, and she's like the blonde. Well, anyway, she was going through her menopause journey and doing her health and wellness thing. And she's like, I need to find a better way to enjoy my girl time, sipping chats. So she partnered with some people and she came up with a line of wines and also champagnes. It's called Avalon. And I have it here. I'm going to share with you. And it has no sugar, which is the toxins that we need to remove from our lives, ladies, on the menopause journey. So this is the champagne, Avalon. There is no sugar in this champagne. So I am going to pour myself a glass and we're going to have a sip and chat. And we're going to talk about the sexy side of menopause. And I just love the way champagne looks when it's in the glass. It's so bubbly, so pretty. So now that we have our glass, I want to thank you for being here first and foremost. And I want to toast to you, those of you who are on the menopause journey and know that there's something more. That the narrative that's out there does not have to be negative. It does not have to be filled with the propaganda that midlife is going downhill. Midlife is a blessing, and if you're here, there's something for you to do. So congratulations for being here. I want to celebrate you, say cheers, and we're going to enjoy the sexy side of menopause. That is so good. Okay. So first, let me say the purpose of my podcast, The Sexy Side of Menopause. One is I feel like I'm a rebel in some ways. You, society, Hollywood, entertainment, do not get to dictate how my life is going to be at this stage. No, you don't. And I don't feel like I'm alone because I've been having these conversations with women in summits, in communities, in business settings. And the women that I know, they are phenomenal. Many older than me, many just starting their menopause journey, but they are amazing, absolutely amazing. They inspire me. So the purpose of my menopause journey and the podcast, The Sexy Side of Menopause, is to introduce some of the women that I personally know who are going on this journey and doing amazing things. And also for us to take our power back, to kick the door down of the narrative that somebody gets to decide who you are during the stage of your life. You get to decide. If you're here, there's something for you to do. So that's the purpose of me doing this podcast, to encourage you, to inspire you, to let you see my journey, to invite you to meet some of the amazing women that I know, and also to offer you an opportunity to get support and help. I'm a certified health coach for women on this menopause journey. I can help you. I've helped other women. And if you're in a situation where you're suffering in silence and you just don't know where to turn, I got you. Okay. So with that being said, you understand the purpose of why I have the podcast and you understand what I'm going to be doing through this podcast. At this point, this is the early stages. I launched it in May of 2024. So I will be releasing a podcast episode every month on the first of the month. And I want to have them live and some of them pre-recorded because people's schedules are busy. These women, I know, they can't always be locked into my schedule of having a podcast loaded on the first of every month around noon. So some of them will be pre-recorded and many of them will be live. So this one that I'm doing is live. I've got several that are already in the podcast space. So it's Beverly Hills Coaching. Check them out. The very first podcast that I did was a young lady talking literally about the sexy side of menopause, like leaning into your sexuality, leaning into your intimacy, knowing that sex is better, honestly, once you get into this menopause space, because I guess we have to define what menopause is. And I'll do that after I make this statement, because a lot of the things that were burdening you, a lot of the things that were stressing you out are falling off your plate as you move through the menopause journey. So menopause, understanding this, is a day. It's like a birthday. Like, celebrate your menopause, honey. And as a matter of fact, there are menopause parties that are happening. But understand that menopause is one day, and everyone's day is different. This is after you've gone 365 days without a cycle. And that day, after you concluded that period, is your menopause. Your menopause is different from every woman's menopause. The journey is different, the day is different, and how you move forward on the postmenopausal side is up to you. It's totally up to you. So there's a perimenopause period, which is this window from 15 years-ish as you're leaning into menopause, where things are happening in your body, your hormones. This is your testosterone, your estrogen, progesterone. These are starting to change, and you'll notice some things that show up in your life. For some women, nothing shows up. But in general, everybody, when they talk about menopause, it's about the hot flashes. I didn't have hot flashes. I didn't. 20% of the women don't even have hot flashes, but a lot do. So what do? Understanding what options are available to you. So menopause is something that you can go through naturally without any drugs, without any medications, or you can see a doctor for a prescription hormone replacement therapy. But trust me, you are going to have side effects that you're going to deal with that may be even worse than going through menopause symptoms. Just saying. So my great grandmother, very holistic in nature, very natural, lived to be in her 90s. Amazing woman. I definitely am inspired by what they have done with their lives so many decades ago. But one thing about my great grandmother is she went through her menopause journey all naturally. No drugs, no medication. She had a little tinctures that were mixed up with different herbs and things, and she went through it fine. I don't remember her bitching and complaining about hot flashes or all, no. And she had 14 children. So it's a decision, ladies. So these women bitching and crying about all of the things that they're going through menopause, there's a way to navigate that. But I've been through things in my life that made menopause look like a dance. So it's a decision how you want to navigate this, okay? So what I want to say next is I was hosting summits for about 2 years, for like every quarter. And this would be a number of women that we would collaborate with, and we would do a live event. So about a dozen women, we would talk about menopause from a medical perspective. We would talk about menopause from nutritional aspect. We would talk about menopause if you're interested in some type of drug. So I had a doctor on, I've had chefs on, I've had coaches on, I've had stylists on, I've had women from all walks of life to be on these summits. So I would do them quarterly for about 2 years. So I had a lot of conversations. So if you were a part of the summits, you had the opportunity to be a part of those conversations. But if you missed those summits, then that was a lot of amazing content that talked about the menopause journey from so many different perspectives. So I would like to bring some of those conversations to the podcast. So I have some books here that I want to share with you. And these are books by women who are on the menopause journey, some of them postmenopausal, that I personally know, who are defying the narrative about menopause being so negative, not sexy. These women are powerhouses. So the first one that I want to share with you is Wendy Ida. This is Wendy Ida's book, Unbreak Me. Now, if you're looking at Wendy, you probably think, well, this is somebody 40, 50. Wendy just had a birthday. I think she's like 74 now. I personally had her on my podcast. She has done a lot to break the stigma around menopause. She has a body, put her up against any 20-year-old. Gorgeous body, and such a beautiful soul. You can see her on YouTube, get her book Unbreak Me. I have this conversation with her for 1 hour where she's talking about all of the things that she loves about being in this stage of life. So if Wendy is loving this stage of life, ladies, what's her secret? We need to find out. So first of all, get her book, Unbreak Me. Check her out on YouTube. I know she has her own channel. She does a lot with fitness, a lot about nutrition, but she's a beautiful soul. And I so have admired Wendy for many, many, many decades. So I look forward to being 70. If I'm going to look like, honey, yes, bring menopause on. The sexy side of menopause, count me in for that one. Okay, so the first episode was sexy. And this lady talked about being in the space of perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, and how you navigate your sexy. And she went in deep. I'm not going to do it here. You got to watch the episode and also follow her. Okay, so that was my very first episode, the sexy side of menopause, with someone who is a sex specialist. The second person that I had on my podcast was a gentleman, and I absolutely loved his conversation, and I want to have more conversations like that. This is where men are trying to understand and support women who are going through the menopause journey, not knowing what they need to do, not understanding it. And even bigger than that, the women usually don't understand it. So how can they explain it to the men in their life? And unfortunately, this is a lot of times where relationship changes. Men go through equally the same hormonal shift, and it's called andropause for men. So if you have a woman going through menopause and a man going through andropause in the same household, oh, the spark's gonna fly. Spark's gonna fly. As we all know. So anyway, this gentleman that I had the conversation with was amazing. He talked about going to the doctors with his wife and supporting her. And I love that. To me, that's the sexy side of menopause. To have a man that's going to lean into this with you, like, baby, I got you. We in this together. I love that. I love that for him. I love that for the men who don't understand. Listen to this episode, share it with other men so they can understand what's happening on this journey. And the third episode that I had was with this is my girl here. This is my girl. This is Dr. Felicia. This is her book, Luxury Life Unveiled. Now, I know you're going to look like this on your menopause journey. I do. Felicia held an event at the Four Seasons with a select group of women. And it was called Crowns and Gowns Queen Season. And one of the requirements was that you had to be a phenomenal woman doing things on a global scale. And to come to this event, you had to bring your crown. And I was like, oh, honey, you're talking to me, because I wear this crown all the time. You might not see it, but I'm always wearing my crown. But she literally had a program that was magical. It was like Cinderella. It was so gorgeous. The women that were there, like each one of these women are powerhouses. And hopefully I'll get an opportunity to have them all on the podcast, The Sexy Side of Menopause, because each one of them, I think with the exception of one, was like 35, so she's more on the perimenopause side. But each one of them has an amazing story doing phenomenal things on their menopause journey. So just know this narrative about, you know what, go and sit back and just let life pass you by. Your best years are behind you. You're the one that's going to be doing the babysitting. For those who are grandmothers, congratulations. But there is a lot of life to be lived. And I just want to encourage you to get out there. Get out there. Be the queen that you are meant to be. Show up 100%. Live a life unveiled. This is a beautiful book and a beautiful soul. One more book I share. I have a stack of books here. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know some amazing women. So if you're not in community like this, ladies, you're probably having a challenge to identify what life has for you ahead, because you need to be inspired. You need to be seeing things that are beyond where you're living day to day. This woman, Marshawn Evans Daniels, beauty queen. Like, literally, she was a beauty queen. She was in pageants in Texas. She has a phenomenal story. I'm not going to tell you about just her story. If you want to know her story, grab her book, Bigger, Better, Discover the Path to Your Life Purpose. This woman, she was on television living her best life, interviewing sports figures from the highest levels. She was an attorney, graduated from Georgetown. And amazingly, I'm actually attending an event that's coming up, and she's going to be the speaker. I was in a program with her and her spouse, Jack Daniels. Think of the whiskey Jack Daniels. The two of them are a hoot together. They are so cute together. And she's had triplets that are several years old now. And she is working when she wants to work, and mostly enjoying being a mother as a menopausal woman. Like, there are story after story after story of women that I know like this who are living a phenomenal life. These are the women that I want to introduce you that are on the sexy side of menopause. Okay? So I want to take time and talk about a couple of more topics. I have some notes here because I would get on a tangent. And we will not have covered as much as I want to cover. And adding champagne to the mix is going to be hilarious. Okay. So one of the things I want to talk to you about is like understanding what you need to do to lean into the sexy side of menopause. One, if you're having challenges and you're not able to really understand what's happening to you, reach out to me. Reach out to me, because I have worked with so many women, and each woman's menopause journey is different. If you're a woman who has found herself picking up extra weight, you don't know where this weight came from, you haven't done anything different, but all of a sudden the weight is showing up on the scale. That's what happened to me. And I was just like, oh, this is not happening. We're going to figure this out. We're going to figure it out. And it's hormonal. So if you understand what you have to do to navigate this season and work to have your hormones to balance out and find yourself feeling better, then you will realize, like, there's just some tweaks I need to do. And I got you. I got answers for this. Okay. The next thing I want you to do is understand that being in community is important. Suffering in silence is one of the things that I heard the most. It's like, okay, I don't have anywhere to turn. My mom didn't talk to me about menopause, so I didn't understand what menopause was. I maybe went to my doctor's office. And if I went to my doctor's office, I'm talking to the doctor and they're not there. They think the answer to my problem is give me some drugs. You're depressed. Here's something for your depression. Or you need to lose weight. Well, yeah, how? Like, what's going on? I haven't, like, the doctors, unfortunately, are not as aware about the menopause journey. They know some of the basics about menopause. But if you think about it, if a woman is going through menopause, and each woman, as they're going through menopause, are going through different symptoms, and each one of these conversations are happening with the doctor's like, I don't know what to do, although they give them a drug. And many times, not even understanding all of the nuances that are happening in our bodies and just trying to lump us all into one space and this is the answer. That's not the way to the way to handle menopause. There are several doctors that are online doing their own podcasts, doing their own circuits of speaking, and talking about how they have actually been enlightened about menopause as they found themselves going through menopause for those women that are doctors, female doctors. One lady specifically said she was apologetic to all of the women who had come through her business as a client, a patient, because they were not adequately served as they were going through their menopause journey. And now she's since spent a lot of time studying, critiquing all of these nuances of menopause, and then actually become a menopause expert. So kudos to this doctor for doing this. But this is a woman who found herself going through menopause and realizing what she was diagnosing for other women and suggesting for them wasn't really happening, because when she was going through menopause, it wasn't helping her, and finding that that needed to be tweaked and changed. So if you're going to a doctor who's a male who went to school like 20 years ago, the menopause journey has changed. This is not the same journey that your grandmother, great grandmother, mother possibly have gone through. There was a period of time when women were going through the menopause journey. The doctors were like, just give her a hysterectomy, just rip it all out. Now they're finding there's been so many unnecessary hysterectomies. And just knowing if you have a hysterectomy, that will throw you into menopause early. So there's so much to this. I'm not a doctor, so I can't talk about all of the things that doctors do, but I have enough insight and enough information that I've come across to understand that you need somebody who is constantly researching menopause. This is my life since 2017. I've been researching and looking at women's health, what we can do on the menopause journey. When I got my certification, I worked with a doctor who's focused on the hormonal aspects to help women lose weight. All of these challenges that women were going through as they were going through the menopause journey. So I found that for me, it's better to help somebody to navigate something that I've gone through better than trying to throw a dart at the wall and figure out, like, I might want to try this. I might want to try, which I've tried a lot of things. I mean, if we go through my resume, I have tried so many things. And that's one of the things about my life that I do enjoy. I'm not afraid to tackle something. And when I was going through the menopause journey, challenged by menopause? No, I'm not. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Okay. So I am here to support you on that journey based on my own personal experience and also the level of studying that I've done. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many, every month I'm going to some seminar, some workshop, some business event to learn more about being better and serving you as a coach on the menopause journey, for supporting you and understanding what you need to do to be healthy, which is key. And one of the things that I'll share as well is that we are dealing with a overload of toxins. And if you don't understand that you need to look at where these toxins are coming in, how to adjust the way you're eating to serve your body during this journey, because if you don't, these symptoms will start to envelop into major problems and then end up being a health concern. Women have problems with heart, big problems with heart. I feel like women, I think like top one or two concerns that women have as they get older is heart. So the level of stress that we're under. Self-care is number one in my book, self-care. And some people think of self-care as being selfish. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you don't take care of you, you're not going to be around. So you got to be selfish at this point. You got to be selfish at this point. You probably spend a lot of time taking care of the kids, taking care of your parents, possibly, definitely if you have a spouse that needs all of these different things, involved in church, involved in social programs. It's just like you're giving. And once you get to this space of menopause, your cup is empty. Your body is screaming like, I need help. All aspects of help. I need support. I need love. I need care. We will talk about my self-care routine, honey. It's there. And I unapologetically do this for myself. I don't need permission for this. I'm in a different space of my life, first of all. But for those maybe who still have some more responsibilities, find out how you can layer in some self-care, because if you don't, diabetes is another thing that we deal with. It's like our insulin levels are off the chart. Our bodies is like holding on to all of this excess sugar. We can't, ladies. We have to make a change. And this is another one that a lot of women find challenging. Like, I don't like to exercise. Well, you don't have to exercise, but you got to move. You got to move. Use it or lose it. Find your movement. I was in an accident, car accident. I'm in the DC metro area. Everybody's in a car accident. I was counting. I think I've been in like 12. Not really my fault. Literally, like the last one, this chick in some SUV on the phone. I'm at a red light, stopped, and I have a little tiny 2-seater car at the time, convertible, Mercedes. Girl, yes, it's living my life. And I'm at the red light minding my business, and this little chick comes and slams into me out of nowhere. Yeah, so sent me into therapy and a whole lot of other things, but I ended up like having to stop working out. I'm one of those people that actually love working out. I'm not working out running a marathon, but I love to exert activities to build muscle tone. Like, this doesn't just happen. You have to do something for that to happen. I used to run like 10 miles. I don't run 10 miles now, but I can walk. But when I was going through therapy, I had to stop all of those things. And I just wasn't feeling like myself exactly. And because when you work out, when you move your body, you set these endorphins in place. And these are happy hormones that start to show up and make you feel good. I was not feeling my best when I was going through that. I'm working to try to rehabilitate myself so I can get back into my activities. So I'm not literally in a gym like I was. I had a trainer that I was working with. So all of that's changed because one, the trainers have moved, just life. So you find another way to get activities in. So one of the things that I do now, I'm back slowly. I got back into it, I don't know, a couple of months ago. I can't remember the exact date. Really slowly, starting my day off with yoga. When I had my summit, I had a young lady on who was a yoga instructor, and she said yoga saved her life. And one of the things that I remember her saying about yoga is like, when you get of a certain age, you need to be able to have the ability to lean forward, lean left, and lean right. And if you can't do those things, you're going to be challenged with your health. So just know, ladies, find your movement. If that's gardening, do gardening. If it's walking your dog, whatever, just move the body. Can't be a couch potato. So another aspect as I'm talking about the community is like understanding like what is it that's on my bucket list that I have yet to do? What are some of the dreams and aspirations that I had when I was younger that I actually haven't taken the time to revisit? The menopause journey, I feel like, is a awakening. It's a time that you get a second chance at life just for you. So, what's on your bucket list? What is something that used to excite you when you were young as a child that you're finding that life has slowed down enough that you can possibly think of doing that? I'm going to tell you a couple of mine, but I'm also going to encourage you to take a piece of paper. Start writing some of those things down if you've forgotten them. Find the magic in the future that lays ahead for you. So I have spent 20 plus years traveling around with a partner all over the world. And I enjoyed my travel. I've lived everywhere. My passport has been stamped a lot. And that has broadened my perspective on life. So if you haven't traveled, I would encourage you to think about it. Maybe pull up some videos of some places that you thought about vacation that you haven't done yet. Like everybody kind of talks about Hawaii. I'm here to tell you Hawaii is overrated. If you haven't done a Hawaii, go. But I think I've been like 3 times and just like, I don't want to go anymore. Unless, I mean, I've gone to the big island. I think I would like to go to Maui, but they caught fire like, I don't know, early part of the year, last year, or something like that. And it's not exactly the same, but I know people that do live in Maui who talk about how beautiful it is. And that's one of the things that really resonate to me now is the beauty of nature. The beauty of nature. So I am leaning into more travel. My top 3 places that I want to travel this next, I guess within the next 12 months. And one of them have already come to fruition. You know, I already said I'm a Paris girl. I love Paris. So I'll be on my 4th trip to Paris. I've accepted a speaking engagement in Paris. So I'll be in Paris this spring on business speaking. And then I'm going to add another week or so to it to just explore other areas of France that I haven't been to yet. That's what speaks to me. I love the experience of travel, to taste new foods, to see new beauty in places, architecture. The United States is a baby compared to the rest of the world. We're like 200 some years old. You go to places where the buildings are just absolutely stunning. The old structures, the churches, the bridges, and oh my God, food. As a woman on the menopause journey, food is what is going to be the key to navigating this time of your life and being healthy. The food that we eat in the United States, by and large, is difficult to support us in comparison to the foods in Europe. There's 2 versions of, I'll use an example like macaroni and cheese. I remember reading this article about mothers in the US who were going against the Kraft company because there was dyes in this Kraft macaroni that was causing their children to have disturbances. Like it was affecting the kids' personalities and they were having problems with their health. That same macaroni and cheese over in Europe is not even allowed, it's banned because of some of the dyes that's in it and some of the ingredients. When you go to these other countries, these people have stricter controls over the food. They're not bought up by the big companies of the food industry to pay somebody off to like, you know, we'll let these chemicals go in these foods even though they're not healthy for you. Over in Europe, they're not having it. The last time I was over in Europe, I ate my way through Europe. I'm not a big dessert person, But while I was over there, there wasn't a pastry shop that I didn't pass to just get a bite of something just to say, okay, I tried it. The way they make their pastry, it's an artistry to them. They don't put all of the ingredients that, like if you look on the back of a cake or something that you bought in the US, there's like ingredients like go on for days. If you buy that same product in their country, there's probably 3 or 4 ingredients. So those extra ingredients that you're ingesting are disrupting your body, causing you problems, and that's why the weight is showing up. That's why you're not feeling healthy, because they're not nourishing our bodies, and that's the food standard here in the United States. It is so low quality compared to the standards in other countries. So we really have to be selective about what we eat, how we eat, the times we eat. These are things your doctor is not going to tell you because they're not taught to encourage their patients about nutrition. If they take a nutrition class, it was maybe a couple of hours out of an entire medical program. When going through the menopause journey, the bottom line is all about the nutrition. The reason why the doctors are not going to give you a whole lot about the nutrition is they don't get paid for telling you to eat good, clean food. They get paid for the drugs that they give you prescriptions on. So that might be mind-blowing for some of you, but that's the reality of the way our system is set up here in the United States. Another aspect of that, if you look at the industry of entertainment, movies, how many women do you see that's menopausal in general compared to the average movie that comes out? They're obsessed with youth. And youth is cool, but youth is fleeting. After you get to a certain age, it's just like it's really hard for a lot of these actresses to remain relevant. But we are starting to see that there is a conversation around the menopause journey, and there are women that want to see more women that look like us in the movie theater. Angela Bassett to me is like, she is sexy as hell to me. And I've seen Angela Bassett up close and personal. Filming a movie, I was there with her. Halle Berry looks amazing. Jennifer Lopez looks amazing. Michelle Obama looks amazing. There's a lot of women who look amazing as they're in their menopause journey. And as we make more and more conversations to encourage this side of ourselves, then the society has to listen. They have to listen. Okay, so I want to share a couple more books with you. And these are not people that I have personally met, but we all know. And they are on the menopause journey. And this one, everybody knows. This is Oprah. Everybody knows Oprah. I am on her mailing list. I'm in her community. And I actually saw Stedman speak. I went to an event where Stedman was a keynote speaker, so I feel like I'm close enough to Oprah. I mean, everybody's watched Oprah over the years, but I remember her saying she had went to the doctor and she wasn't really aware she was going through menopause, but she was going to the doctor and they were telling her all of these different things and just like not even close to diagnosing her and saying, you know what, you're a menopausal woman. These things are normal. This is what you need to do. Now, if Oprah going to have a difficult time going through the menopause journey and not being adequately served, what chance do we have? Halle Berry, I congratulate her and applaud her. She is showing up powerfully in the menopause journey. She actually had a press conference several months ago that I saw where she met with women from the legislature on the left and the right, and they're starting to have conversations around menopause and how women can be better served on this journey. So we're starting to speak up. We're starting to have a voice. An industry cannot negate where we are on this journey and that we're a viable part of society. And if you think about the monies that we have, most of us have already had a career, retirement, business owners. A couple of these books that I've shared with these women are multimillionaires. The ones I know, multimillionaires. Oprah is a billionaire. So we need to be acknowledged. We need to be able to have things that connect with us and support us. One of the things that I have noticed is that there's starting to be more around the media for women, like marketing medications for menopause. I think I was watching the Super Bowl last year. I'm a sports person, I love sports. And they were marketing menopause, some type of pill or something, which that's a way, ladies, but just do your research. That's not the only way. But I thought this is one of the most expensive advertising spaces that you can get is marketing during the Super Bowl. And they're marketing to women about menopause, which is interesting because by and large, men worship being at the Super Bowl or either being in front of a TV or being in community with people during the menopause. Well, back up, let me say it again. During the Super Bowl, they are marketing mostly to men because men are out there on the field playing football. However, these men do have partners who are menopausal that are probably watching along with them. But for the men to normally see their beer commercials and then all of a sudden there's a commercial about menopause, I guess some of them are just like, what is this? What is this about? Oh, this is something my wife going through or my girl going through. I think it's really good, but I don't think the fact that you market menopause as something that needs to be fixed with a medicine, I think that there should be a balance. But I imagine because of the cost of these ads, you probably won't see a balance. You're going to see the people who got the money to pay for their narrative, the propaganda. But anyway, this is my girl, Michelle Obama. She talked about her experience going through the menopause journey, the experiences that she has gone through, some of the challenges, but also leaning into the fact like this is the best time of her life. It absolutely is. And the pinnacle for us here in the United States, this is my Soror, Kamala Harris, AKA, running for the highest position in the United States. She's running to be the first woman of color as president of the United States. This is a menopausal woman stepping into the highest space in the land. And I say she can do it. Bravo, go for it, girl. Let's redefine menopause. So I hope that what I've shared has been encouraging to you. I hope it's been insightful for you. If you're in this space and you're just like, oh my God, I want to be a part of the sexy side of menopause, but I need support, I need help, reach out to me. I'm here to support you. I want to kick the narrative out and bring in a rebrand to menopause because this can be the best time of your life. This is the time of possibility. This is the time to recommit to your health. This is the time to live your best life. So with that, ladies, again, we have had our champagne. I hope you had enjoyed the conversation. Be with me next time for the next episode. I have an amazing woman lined up, and she is A to Z. She got the entire package. So I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. I want to ask for you to do me a big favor. I want to get this conversation in many more spaces. I think each one of us can take responsibility for that. So I ask you to please subscribe to the channel, like it. Also, if you have topics that you want me to talk about, if you yourself are going through the menopause journey and you have something to share, reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation and see how we can have you a part of the platform, because this is for all of us, ladies, for all of us, and even the gentlemen. So do me a favor, subscribe, like, and share. And if I can support you in any way on the journey and you need help, BeverlyHillsCoaching.com, and I am here to help you lean into the sexy side of menopause. Okay, ladies, it's been a pleasure. Mwah. See you next time. Take care. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. It means so much to me. Mwah. All right, ladies. See you next time. Bye.